Hello again, this is Juveng with Tomorrow Hmong channel. I am at Hmong Cultural Center with Mark Piper here. Today I'm going to take you, I'm going to ask Mark to take us tour of the center here. So Mark, thank you for giving me opportunity to visit the center here. Thank you for giving opportunity.
No problem. And so, yeah, the center started in 1992, so it's going to be 29 years.
29 years already.
And then 30 years next year.
So if any of you have ever come to Minnesota, make sure that you stop at Hmong Cultural Center of Minnesota.
We still maintain a couple rooms of the old museum here. There was too many things to move down to the new museum. So I'll just show you what we have up here. So these are artifacts and tools. And we have the sketch drawings from artist Seng Lee. So everything that's in the display case, we also have a sketch drawing. We have the rifle and the knife and the axe and the bicycle and the machete, for example. And then we have the actual objects in the display case. So traditional Hmong tools, cultural artifacts here. Over here we do have the traditional clothing and the dolls, the green Hmong and the white Hmong. We have the Hmong house here. The crossbow, and then one of our larger embroidery pieces. And of course, we do have the museum labels for everything that is on display here.
And I see we have the Hmong Rifle.
Yep, that's correct. We have we have a Hmong Rifle right there, and we also have the gunpowder.
Do you have any history of this rifle? How long it was?
Yeah, we're thinking 1940s or 1950s, but we don't have much history on it. It was donated to the center a number of years ago.
And this one is the one that
it's for the gunpowder.
Gunpowder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is actually Hmong invention, huh?
So yeah. And then over here we do have another display case. We actually have some more clothing in the Hmong baskets. And then we have some more cultural objects in this display case. So, like for example, we have the tops and we have a smoking pipe in there, and drinking cups, and the rice sorter there, and the miniature rice pounder, and several other objects up in a corn peeler, and the scissors, and
the scale, right?
Yep, pan brush, and then we have a couple more of these sketch drawings from Seng Lee.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yep. And so that's the first room here of the older part of the museum. And we can come into the next room here. So these three display cases are clothing, and for primarily clothing, we do have the baby carrier here, and the men's necklaces there, and the boys' necklace, and then the clothing attachments, the embroidery pieces here. So other smaller pieces of embroidery there. The boys' cap. I think this woman's skirt is from Vietnam, and then other assorted pieces of clothing. The woman's hat, or New Year's hat from China, in there. And then finally over here we have a few more pieces. The man or the boy's vest from Laos, I believe that is, and then a girl's skirt, and another shirt there.
Nice.
Courtship balls from New Year's, and some other assorted embroidery, kind of more modern adaptations of Hmong embroidery on the toys there. And we also have the home altar here. Sort of the Hmong Cultural Center protective altar there. An adaptation of the home altar for the Hmong Cultural Center.
Of course.
So the visitors can learn a little about what the home altar is all about. So that's sort of the upstairs part of the museum, and up to a few months ago, the entire museum was upstairs, and we had more of it up here. But we moved into a much larger space downstairs now. We'll go down there in a few moments here. But we can move over to the library.
Sure.
We'll come into the library. All right, so this is our Hmong Resource Library, and we've had this for more than 20 years, and we keep building onto it. And it's a very unique library in terms of all the research that it has. In particular, the uniqueness is all the PhD dissertations related to Hmong people and culture. So all these blue books here, these are all dissertations. In fact, those are all really new ones in the
Oh,
last
the
5
newer
years
ones,
that we
huh?
just ordered. Just any topic related to Hmong, there's been a PhD dissertation on. We try to order it for our library. And all these binders here, those are all dissertations. So we have more than 500 dissertations in the library.
Wow.
It's very complete.
You mean 500 dissertations just related to
Just
the Hmong?
related to Hmong, yep. From
That's quite a bit
yeah,
now
I
to
know,
read.
going all way back to the 1970s.
Mhm.
And anything we can get our hands on a dissertation, we try to get a copy. We're kind of running out of room for the dissertations in here. But no, we have more than probably more than 600 books, I think, in here too. Any topic related to Hmong. There's a book we tried to get the book. We have everything organized by topic area. That's sort of labeled on the bookshelves. We just got all new bookshelves in here, so it's looking much nicer than it did the last few years. These bookshelves are kind of getting old that we had in here.
I see we have the what's this house back up here?
Yep, that was donated. So that is a
Is it more like a rice storage or corn storage?
I don't know the
something
background of the house. It could be.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Hmong doesn't live that kind of house. That's more like a Lao
I'm not
style.
It was donated from probably a non-community member several years ago, and I'm not sure the story behind it.
Or it could be a farmhouse.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where people just go to the farm, and this is where because it says it isn't really look like a typical home in Laos. It's just like a farmhouse. I think so. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But you can see like health and medicine. We have a lot of stuff. So health disparities, health issues.
Mhm.
We got religion over here, various aspects of culture, even among food and cookbooks, among music, among arts, linguistics, like the Hmong language, the structure of the Hmong language, oral histories. There's been a lot from the Hmong American writers. These are all oral histories, people telling their life stories and memoirs, for example. Over here we have the Hmong language collection.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go head over there.
So let's say somebody want to come do more research about Hmong. Do you allow them to borrow, or they just have to come here and
We
sit?
are a research library, so people can come in. We're open all day long, 9 to 5. They can come here, use our table here, and we have a copier. But we don't, except unless it's a children's item, we do not do
So
checkouts.
do they have to make a schedule and let you know that they?
No, they could just come in anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or they could make an appointment if they wish.
Okay.
Yep. And then we do have the periodicals too, so the newspapers and the magazines. Yep, we have a nice collection of the periodicals, and then finally we have the children's section. We have a lot of Hmong children's books. We've been collecting them for more than 20 years. Some of them are out of print now that we have, but we did get a grant a few years ago to broaden the children's collection, because we do have parents in our adult ed programs here, Citizenship ESL. Children can come while they're in class. So we do have a lot of the other children's literature now, and we do have some Somali. We have a lot of Somali people in our programs too, so we have Somali books as well as Quran too.
Oh, I see.
Yep. Okay, so if you're ready, we could head downstairs.
Sure.
All right. Not much else.
Yeah, I see you have General Wang Pao here,
Oh yes.
and I have Tu Billy Fong
Yes, we do
and
have the
Lo
leaders.
Kietong here.
We have some of the historical leaders of the Hmong community up here.
Mm.
That is correct. And so we have the sketch drawings as well as the sort of the narrative descriptions of the brief descriptions of some of the accomplishments of these leaders. All right, so this is our new museum, and we are opening it up this fall. This is an expansion of our older museum, and it's quite a bit bigger. It's 1,200 square feet. So we ran out of space upstairs, And we were fortunate to have the grants and resources to take a 5-year lease on this new space down here. So it's going to let us host a lot more school groups. We really couldn't only do more than probably 10 people easily or comfortably, like a group of 10 up there. And now we can easily do maybe 20 or 30. But we do have limits right now because of the pandemic. So we're limiting to 15. They have to wear a mask when they're in here on the tours. But hopefully we can lift those sooner rather than later. But we have to keep those rules in place for now. So I'll give you a tour of our new museum space here. We have a small little gift shop. And so we do have some cultural books that the Hmong Cultural Center has produced over the last few years. We have the Learning Kang curriculum book by our instructor Chai Lee, our former instructor Chai Lee. We have a Hmong Embroidery book that we did with the Hmong Archives. We have a Hmong funeral book that Suso Lee did. He's our cultural customs instructor. It's a funeral song book, very comprehensive. And we also have a wedding song book. We also have a funeral procedures book that the late Tujar Lee did with some of our staff a few years ago. So we do have the small gift shop up here, and these culture books are pretty unique. You know, they were produced by Hmong Cultural Center. I'm not aware of any other wedding and funeral song book, for example.
So can they order this online?
Yes, they can. They can order through our website at hmongcc.org. We also have a gift shop up there. Yep, they could order those wedding and funeral books up there and the other books here. And so we'll get into sort of what's in the museum now. We have these larger embroidery pieces, and our consultant, Sang Lee, did work on the museum labels for these. So he did some nice labels so people can look at these really nice larger embroidery pieces. And I like to note that everything has been donated to the museum, so we do not even have a collection budget, but we've gotten a lot of really generous donations over the last several years of all the embroidery, and actually all the cultural objects that are in the museum were donated over time. Okay, so these are the larger embroidery pieces. When people walk in, they can take a look at these. And so there's another one right here. Okay. And I said they all have labels, so they describe, what maybe it's not a Hmong person or is not just familiar with the culture, then the label will tell them what to look for in the particular artwork. Okay. And over here, this is some of the panels. So we worked with a company called Museology. They're from based in Minneapolis, and they work with a lot of small museums. So they did all these panels for us. And so in the front of the museum, we do have these panels about the timeline of Hmong history. And then we have 5 panels related to the secret war in the Hmong role in the Vietnam War effort in Laos. And 4 of these are brand new panels. This one's a little bit older. It was part of the upstairs museum before. That's real basic about Colonel Bill Lair meeting with General Bang Pao in 1961 to start the war effort. But then these 4 are much newer, and actually we worked with a local historian named Noah Vang, and he got the scripts of these panels together, and he donated the photos from his collection. So there's a lot more detail on these additional 4 panels about the war effort and the General Bang Pao, how he worked with the Americans. And then we even have a panel that talks about some of the other people from the Hmong community who were involved in that effort back in Laos. So we have some of the Hmong nurses on there and the school teachers. So I'm very, very pleased. We have a much broader set of information related to the war effort that we had up in the old museum. People can come down here and learn a fair amount.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll head into our little room here now. So this is our Hmong music room, Hmong traditional folk arts music room here. We do have a panel about the Hmong sung poetry tradition, and actually people can watch the video. We don't have the iPad on at the moment, but they could come in the museum regular hours and watch a video of some of the sung poetry. We actually just put the QR codes in. That's even easier. If you've got a smartphone, they can just pull up the video by putting their phone up to the QR code. So we have a couple different options if you want to watch the videos. Then we also have traditional Hmong musical instruments. So we've got these sketch drawings that Si-Seng Lee did, and we also have the objects in the cases of the instruments. So the two-string violin, the mouth harp, the free reed pipe, and the flute. And then people could watch videos, examples of all these traditional Hmong musical instruments.
Nowadays, you have the QR code is much easier nowadays.
Yes, I like it better myself because these iPads is kind of a lot of hassle to get them working every day.
Yeah, someday it works, someday it doesn't work.
Also, wireless connections sometimes are not that great. So yeah, the QR codes are wonderful. And I actually don't have this on at the moment. Would you like me to turn it on so that people can? It's actually kind of nice, this video. So I will get this on quickly here.
Sure.
That Hmong will come back to fight another day. They have a distinguished record of fighting. There's a long history of animosity
so we have
between Hmong and the Vietnamese.
we have 3 documentaries in our little theater here that people can watch related to Hmong history. So we have a 1972 documentary about the situation in Laos back in 1972, before the end of the war. We also have a 60 minutes documentary about the Secret War from 1979. That's actually what's on here right now. And then we also have a documentary called Becoming American, some clips, and it's about a Hmong family moving from Bob and I refugee camp in 1982 to Seattle, Washington. So people can actually watch some pretty substantive documentary clips related to the Hmong experience here in our museum, in our large screen TV in our theater area.
Levy Roque, a Philippine doctor who works for the International Rescue Committee.
Some more embroidery pieces that were donated. These are from the early 1980s, donated by the Junior League of St. Paul. So they worked with these Hmong women back there at that time, and they helped them sell their embroidery. So the Junior League of St. Paul donated these to us last year, these embroidery pieces. So it's sort of kind of the history of Hmong and St. Paul too, because this group was involved in the resettlement back in the early 80s. Now this is our embroidery section, and we have 2 panels that museology did about the different types of Hmong embroidery and some of the techniques that are used to make it. And then here we have the symbols, some of the key symbols among American embroidery. And then we do have a short video that people could watch with the QR code or with the iPad station. We also have the symbols up here too. And then we have the embroidery wall. And so people actually can look at those symbols, and then they can kind of pick them out as some of the pieces here, the older type flower cloths, like this one, for example. And then we also do have a number of the newer type story cloths too up here. You can see this one. There's actually one down there, another one there, one there. And then we have this really nice case here, several of the older type flower cloths in the case too, and people can actually find a lot of the symbols in there as well. Okay. Now over here we do have a section on some more of the Hmong folk arts that we teach here at the Hmong Cultural Center. So again, the Hmong Cultural Center started in 1992, and our founding programs are the Hmong ceremonial folk arts, so the Keng instrument and the wedding and funeral songs. And we've been teaching those here for almost 30 years. So this part of the museum is devoted to those art forms that we teach here at the Hmong Cultural Center. So again, we've got the Hmong wedding and funeral songs. People can read about these art forms on the panel, and even some of the different types of songs in these traditions. And then they could watch a video with the QR code or with the iPad here. We also have panels about the Hmong wedding and funeral ceremonies right here. And then the Keng instrument, we actually have a sketch drawing of the Keng instrument from Si-Seng Lee with some information about the instrument, as well as the panel about the Keng instrument. And then we have a couple of the mounted Keng instruments in the case. And we also, on this iPad or the QR codes, they can watch some of the Keng songs from our student and teachers. I think we have an entertainment song as well as a funeral song that people can watch.
Okay. So now you take me toward the whole the center already. Can you go a little bit more on details? What kind of classes you offer, and who can attend? Who are those who want to come learn Keng or learn the Hmong culture? Can you tell me a little bit more about the programs?
Yes. So we still have the cultural arts classes, but we focus on the Hmong ceremonial arts, and so that is the wedding and funeral song art forms. So we do have the Keng classes at the Cultural Center. Those are for children and youth aged 7 years old to 18 years old. We have, I think, 3 different levels, like beginning, intermediate, advanced. And the more advanced students, they go out and perform at events in the community. So those are for children and youth, the Keng classes. We also, for adults, do have the wedding and funeral customs classes. And those classes, they do teach the songs as well as the ceremonies.
Those are the ones who choose to learn how to perform.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So a lot of our students, they will perform at Hmong funerals or weddings, for example, after they complete the class.
Is there any fee or any
The classes
registration?
are currently free. Yes, the cultural arts classes are currently free.
So if anyone want to, if they see this on YouTube, can they just go through your website, find out your next class, and register from there? Or
The classes, they run all the time. The best way is just to give us a call, and we'll hook up the person with the teacher, and then they can set up a time to come in and register. Yep.
Okay. How about schools? They are either local here or long distance schools. They want to learn about Hmong culture. Do you offer any educational workshop online or?
Yeah, so, okay, that's a great question. So, we have a very basic, much more basic than you're going to get in person in our class in person, but we have a very basic introduction to the Keng class that is online. They can register through our website, so it's an intro to the Keng instrument. It's a video and a quiz, and they also get a copy of the Keng curriculum that our teacher made. We also have a wedding and funeral procedure online class. It's not the songs, it's just the wedding and funeral procedures taught by Sister Lee. So that is an option on our website under online classes. So we have wedding and funeral procedures as well as the introduction to the Keng. Now probably more for the non-Hmong people, we have the Hmong 101. So that is very basic Hmong history and culture. Sean Lee, our executive director, he is the primary teacher of that. I do some of the demographics, the population part of that. We do have that on our website, Hmong 101, and we do the virtual seminars too with the Hmong 101. And that's primarily, again, for non-Hmong groups like schools, employers, if they want to learn more about their Hmong neighbors.
Okay. Now come to our last part here. If anyone would like to give donation to the center, would they be able to give it through your website, or what other way of giving donation to you?
Thank you for asking us. So we have our website at hmongcc.org, hmongcc.org, and there is a donate page on the left. So we have 2 options. We have the PayPal link on there as well as a Give Minnesota donation option.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mark, for giving me the opportunity to come and thank you for showing me through the center here. I'm sure that we have more. After the pandemic in here, you will be flooded with a lot of students, and I look forward to come back again to do another tour with you.
Sure.
And thank you.
Thank you.